Hello, and welcome to Shady Business, a podcast dedicated to commentary on scams that live on the internet. I am your host, Maja, and I'm here to guide you through all things scam. Take a drink, and let's guide you on this world of adventure. Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Shady Business. I have the Instagram up, I have a post, I have everything. I feel like this is really real. My name is Maja, and I'll be your host. This is super exciting for me. I have thought about this for quite a long time because I've been listening and watching YouTube commentary ever since I was in college. Can you guess when that was? 2013. Yeah, 2013. Exciting stuff. So it's been a while. I've had a lot of practice listening to these people talk. So I thought, well, why not my turn, right? Right. So when I first started developing this show, I had a lot of ideas that were bouncing around. The structure was interesting to me because I wanted to create a show that was not only entertaining, but also informative. Like, I want you guys to stay safe. I want you guys to be wary about everything that you see online. And I want you guys to know that people are trying to you over. In regards to that, I want something accessible. I want you guys to know everything that there is to know. So let me find myself in where I am. But before I can dive into some of the bigger topics, because I do eventually want to dive into like specific company, specific scams and scam types and make sure that you guys know exactly how they work. We have to go over certain, I want to say modalities maybe. Maybe not modalities, but like overarching themes, overarching ways that these scammers go about and like try and get your information. Now, what is a scam? I know, very basic, very fundamental, but we have to go over it. It's a method or operation that is designed to extrapolate sensitive information from an individual, that's you, to then take their money, personal information, or other valuable assets. Think like family history, family addresses, stuff like that. Because, I mean, not only you could be implicated, but your loved ones. And who wants that? You know, we don't want that. So for this first episode, I thought we would go over the common types. The first thing on my list is a phishing scam. And not like fish as in tasty, delicious seafood, nom nom nom. No, it's you're phishing. Like literally people are trying any sort of way to come at you to get anything from just your username to your security question answers to bank account information and all that stuff. So a scammer's attempt to obtain sensitive information such as usernames, passwords, credit card, and details, so that they're able to answer those security questions. So phishing works like a high-tech con job where these cyber criminals use cunning tactics to trick unsuspecting individuals in divulging sensitive information. And I have this really funny story at work. They have the IT team send out these phishing emails across system-wide to see if they can catch anybody. And the last one was pretty crazy. They used this tactic I wouldn't recommend on a business level, but they decided that they were going to use we know what you did. You have 24 hours to answer or we'll expose all your information. And there was a ruckus. Like, I cannot believe how many emails they got. So they had to publicly issue an apology. I know, exciting. So the way that it works is that they try and bait the hook. They are trying to give you some sort of communication where they even create a fake website that looks trustworthy or familiar. They might impersonate banks, social media platforms, online stores, and they will go ahead and try and make like the logos real enough so that they are trying to basically pull the wool over your eyes. They're trying to get you to click on whatever they're sending you. So then they have to craft lure. They have to create a sense of urgency, something that enticed you to act quickly. For instance, they may claim that there's suspicious activity on your account and they want you to verify your information. A really easy way is they will usually text you. I promise Verizon Wireless will never text you that. I promise they will call first or email. I don't think they have time to just text. But they will go ahead and try to have you verify your information by clicking, downloading, any sort of thing. And by the way, you can easily grant these people access to your computer as soon as you hit download, because it you grant them permission into your computer. So never click anything to download. Always have it get scanned, because you never know. You could have a bunch of stuff start tracking every keyboard type movement. So then they set the trap by you clicking on the links or attachment that can lead to the dire consequences. They may even direct you to fake login pages. And obviously you're smart. I know you are. You're smart and handsome. You can look at the web pages, and usually it doesn't look like what it should look like. There's some funky trademarks going on. The logo's not in the right spot. The website URL is tomgoesfarting.com. It's pretty obvious. And then once they've snagged your info, the phishers can use it for identity theft, financial fraud, or they can gain unauthorized access to access to your accounts, all without realizing until it's too late. So phishing in itself is the most rudimentary of scams. I would think it's something that baby scammers use to get into the big ranks and the big leagues, which will lead into our next segment, which is our investment segment. Ooh, I kind of want to put a cool little ooh there. My favorite is the Ponzi scheme, because how fun is it? Ponzi. It's the never-ending party, in other words. Basically, you can think of the Ponzi scheme as a swanky cocktail party where the first guests that arrive are served these top-shelf drinks, but only because the host keeps inviting new guests to supply that wealth for those first couple of people, so that it creates an illusion of success within that company. But the reality, the party collapses as soon as there's no more new guests, which is why it is illegal. It's a scam. Scammers promise high returns with little or no risk, paying earlier investors with the money from new investors, and then the scheme collapses when there are not enough new investors, as I said. So this is interesting because it kind of led the way into what we now know as the pyramid scheme, which is basically a stack of lies. The pyramid schemes are trying to build a human pyramid at a circus. They look impressive until the base gives out. So here you make money by recruiting others below you. And then the catch, of course, is that the pyramid will always collapse because you will always run out of people to recruit. And because most of these pyramid schemes are recruitment based and there's nothing actually there for the company or the business to keep afloat, exponentially grows and then kind of falls off because you run out of people. And this is illegal because there's no business to be played out. It is just a quick cash grab. Basically, so it operates on multiple levels with each participant recruiting their own new members. Participants are often aware that they must recruit new members to make more money. And then the recruitment is essential. Each participant recruits others who recruit more participants, forming the pyramid-like structure. But really, when you get down to the mean, median, and mode and average of all these people that are participating and how much money is actually being distributed across the amount of people that are participating, you'll see that the 80 to 90% of people that are participating in these pyramid schemes are making $0 a month. It's a very skewed statistics, and hopefully later on we can show you some more about that as we dive deep. And so to go ahead and give you a taste of something that we will be kind of diving into, I want to talk about what is called a pump and dump investment scam. It's kind of like a stock market roller coaster where it's basically dependent on the people that are trying to buy and sell the stocks. So a pump and dump scam is a type of securities fraud that involves artificially inflating the price of a stock, often a small, like thinly traded one. They're known as penny stocks through false or misleading statements. Once the price has been pumped up, the fraudsters then sell off their shares at an inflated price, or the dump, and then they leave other investors holding the shares as they plummet. So basically, they create all this hype around a certain stock, and then they kind of like pull the covers under, or pull the rug under the people's feet, and they profit, the other people don't. And what you're gonna do? You fell to the scam. Basically, though, what happens is these people organize. There's the fraudsters purchase a large quantity of the low-priced, thinly traded stock, something that is easy to manipulate so that you can create a buzz. Oh, it's going to be the new Apple. It's going to be the new Microsoft. And then they try and promote it, and they try and pump it up. They spread these positive, false information about the stock to create a certain excitement to drive up the price. And then this can be done anywhere through like social media platforms, press releases, newsletters, email spam campaigns, and even like news outlets. The information typically includes exaggerated claims about the company's potential and fake news upcoming about the positive developments, or just altered numbers to just make it look better than it actually is. So then you see that rapid price increase, you see it inflate, you see it make the news. Oh my gosh, there's this new stock. So it creates this frenzy. The increasing price attracts then more investors, creating a positive feedback loop of rising prices and growing interests. So then once it creates that peak, that sweet spot, the dump or the selling occurs. And then so once the price reaches a sufficiently high level, the fraudsters start selling off their stuff. They will sell it at maximum volume so that they profit quickly before it is obviously like noticed. And then the collapse of the stock happens. So one of the most famous example that exists out there is the Wolf of Wall Street. So they have the Stratton Oakmont brokerage firm directed in the movie. The firm engages in massive pump and dumps, and you see it play across the stream as they're trying to create this frenzy. They're trying to make this buzz around all these little penny stocks. And then what do? They sell it as soon as they have enough people invested, excited into the product or the stock. They end up just selling all of it, and that's how they make their money. That's how Leonardo DiCaprio is able to afford his Quaaludes. And then you see it all kind of comes crashing down because the IRS comes down on them. They see that it's not a good business, and he doesn't get his Quaaludes in the end. So another example of the pump and dump, but not really, because this is where it kind of skirts the line. If you remember in 2021, GameStop was severely down on its revenue. It had lost a lot of its shares, but like the value of its shares. So there was a group of people who assembled on the Reddit page Wall Street Bets, and they came together to bet against it. So basically what I've written down, it's a struggling video game retailer with a heavily shorted stock, meaning that a lot of investors were betting against it by borrowing shares and selling them, hoping to buy them back at a lower price. So they were kind of creating this toxic environment. Well, a large number of individuals, primarily from that subreddit, began to buy the shares off of from GameStop. And then the hedge funds started to get into it. So institutional investors, some of whom had significant short positions in GameStop, betting the stock would decline, started doing this well. So then the buying frenzy started because of the Wall Street bets. Retail investors coordinated to buy shares and call options, driving up the price of GameStop. And then as the prices rose, the short sellers faced mounting losses. To cover their positions, they were forced to buy back these shares at a higher price. So these hedge bros were then having to rebuy these stocks that they were just betting against, further driving up the price. This is known as a short squeeze. So then GameStop's price skyrocketed from around $20 in early January 2021 to a peak of over $480 later in the same month. So this kind of came back at them. But the event drew such a significant attention from regulators that it led to congressional hearings and discussion about market manipulation and the role of social media in stock trading and the practices of the hedge funds. So then this highlighted the power of retail investors when acting collectively and the risk associated with the short selling. It drove so many lobbyists into the White House. It was crazy. And so but it increased the awareness amongst them. And I hope that, to a mom and pop store, that would be kind of cool, like something local, but I wouldn't recommend it because you're still trying to like mess with something that could or could not be illegal, because it wasn't completely in the realm of legality, I should say, but it's still, one person could have made it so much worse. So the conclusion for the GameStop thing was then, while the GameStop event had some surface similarities to a pump and dump, it was fundamentally different in terms of the motivation, organization, and execution. It was driven by a large decentralized group of retail investors, which acting openly and often with a sense of collective purpose rather than a coordinated effort to deceive and defraud other investors. And we'll end on a fun little collective of advance fee fraud / golden ticket scams, which are the fun ones. So picture this. You've won the golden ticket to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, but you must pay a processing fee first. It sounds sweet, right? Well, the scam takes the money up front with promises of these grand things, but then you're left with a bitter taste. They disappear, you get blocked. So a lot of really popular ones are the romantic scams. They create this fake persona and they establish a romantic relationship with you, and then they try and take money from you. A good example of that is the Nigerian prince. You get selected from a wide pool of eligible women or men, and you get to be chosen to fund this man's life. There's also lottery and prize scams, which you win something, but first you have to click on something or give them information or give a processing fee. Advanced fee fraud exploits the victim's hopes and trust, leveraging convincing stories and the promise of significant rewards to extract money up front. Awareness and skepticism are key to avoiding such scams. Always verify claims independently and be cautious of any requests for advance payments. I'm going to end this off with me talking about the Mural scam because that's the one that I kind of like fell victim to. I decided about a year ago that I was going to go into the freelance modeling world and decided to make my profile public. Well, the first couple of weeks I got hit with the Mural scam, and this is basically them telling me how beautiful I am and how they want to draw me, but they don't want to draw me, which is the sad part. But I'm going to read to you exactly what it is that they write. This is from Nicole D from Denzel Creatives. Shout out. Hey, you have an artistic face, and if you let me, I would make such an amazing mural out of it. If you don't mind, one of your favorite pictures would be my inspiring muse for an art project I'm working on for a client. You will totally get paid, you will totally get paid for it, as well as a bonus, also get credits. Now notice how it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't. At the time of me a year ago, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, me. But now as I look at these, because I get these like every couple of weeks, there's no it's not a good format of questions. The grammar is really bad. If you look at their profile, they don't even follow me. They have 14 posts. There's no picture. There's no nothing. And so the next thing that would happen if I were to interact with this post is they would want to send me a check, and it's always more than it's actually for. And so when you actually when you accept the check, I didn't accept the check, do not worry. I just looked it up later. The check will bounce, your credit will bounce once you try and cash it, and then they get access to your bank. Yeah, not fun. There's a lot of people online that are not happy about it, but yet it keeps happening. But I'm here to tell you not to do what they did. But anyway, so that's one of them. And I'd like to end this off by talking about ways you can stay safe. Basically, educate yourself by watching this podcast. Use strong passwords. Please don't use 1234. That's not good. Be skeptical about unsolicited communication. So basically, if somebody's talking to you or like something like pops up randomly, you get a text that says, "Hey, I'm Verizon. You got $500 overdue." Maybe call them first. Don't click on stuff. Like they're not going to text you. Protect your personal information. Don't tell people what your maiden name is. Don't tell people what your birthday is online unless you know them specifically. Don't tell people how many kids you have or what their favorite color is, because those are all security question answers. Don't do that. Monitor financial accounts. Look at your bank statements. Look at anything that's weird. A lot of them will go ahead and charge minuscule amounts of things, like little charges, so that you won't notice it. And then they have access to your account, and bada boom, bada bing, you have $0. Be cautious with online shopping, shipping and handling scams. If the product is free, but you only have to pay shipping and handling, it's a scam. Also, report the scams. If you see if you see a company or an account on Instagram that's trying to scam somebody or you, hit that report button. Flood that Instagram helps to support person with those scams. Let them know. And finally, trust your instincts. If something is too good to be true, it probably is. My name is Maja. This has been Shady Business, and I'm out. Bye. Thank you so much for watching. I am your host, Maja. If you want to follow along for any updates, please follow me on Instagram at Shady Business Podcast. If you'd like to follow along with everything else, follow SB Studios, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. This podcast was produced in partnership with SB Studios.